Hello, this is Cynthia Sue Larson, and I'm with RealityShifters.com, and today I'd like to talk about nature's message to us now. And this is a message from the month of, toward the end of August 2020, which has been quite a year. But what I'd like to start with is when I first moved to this place where I currently live, in the home that I currently live in. I selected it partly, in fact, large part, due to the fact that there was a beautiful, really old growth redwood. I don't know how many hundreds of years it is, but it looked very ancient right on the property, very close to the house. So I feel such an affinity for trees. This property also had other trees as well, but that was kind of like the anchor tree, the great spirit of the land. And I didn't notice at the time, but there were other redwoods nearby. The only tree I paid attention to was the one that was on the property line. In fact, I was noticing how remarkable it was that it was right at the corner of 3 properties. So it seemed to ensure its own preservation and survival, regardless what any individual homeowner might choose. Because it was situated as it was, no single homeowner could ever just cut it to the ground because they felt like it, which I was really happy to see that. Now, earlier this year, sometime in the spring, I was in the garden right here where you see me right now, and I was approaching a tree right behind me, and it's on the other side of the property line. It's not in my garden, but I was just walking along, just strolling, not at a fast or a slow pace, just walking through the garden as I do pretty much every day. And then right at my feet, a huge branch fell from this tree on the other side. It's a redwood tree on the other side of the fence. And it fell directly at my feet in such a way that I could not ignore it. And immediately I realized this tree is talking to me. So I asked the tree, would you like to tell me something? And I got a very clear feeling in response. Yes, the tree did want to communicate something. It was in the form of a question, which I felt in my heart more than words. And the question just felt like, will you care for me? And in that moment, of course, the answer was yes. And then I felt kind of confused because this tree is it's on my neighbor's property, not mine. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I'm the one that's walking the ground every day. I'm the one who's bringing love to the plants in my garden every day. The roots for this tree obviously are in my garden. They're under the ground. These redwood roots go out they span a huge distance, pretty much the entire canopy above. There are roots below, but I think even beyond that. So definitely there are roots here. But just the fact that it had reached out to me touched my heart in such a deep and profound way that it has changed, or it's actually activated a question in my mind about maybe what all of nature is asking humanity. Will you care for us? And will you care for each other? And I'm seeing this again. It's way beyond boundaries. It's beyond the fence line. So when I think about, because that was what was stopping me to even consider that maybe I should be caring for this tree with love every day. Sometimes if it's extra dry, giving it some water. Just things that are very simple, very small. This tree will hopefully outlive me by a large factor of hundreds of years. These trees can live thousands of years, these redwoods. These California redwoods, in fact, are built to withstand fire. Their bark is fire resistant tremendously. So they're built to propagate through fire. So if a fire comes through, as typically would be the case, the seeds germinate in the heat of that fire. The clearing of the fire allows space and sky for the new seedlings to propagate and thrive. And so that's part of the whole process. But now, in my life, this last month, August, has been sort of shocking and terrifying for a lot of us Californians. The entire populace of California was put on evacuation alert just the other weekend because we already had hundreds of fires burning in California. And they had started this year due to dry lightning strikes, which came about through a thunderstorm system. There was lightning, there was thunder, but not much rain. And subsequently, a lot of fires were starting. And because of some winds and other conditions, they were still going. And then last weekend, we were told by the meteorologists and weather forecasters to expect another system similar to the one that had brought all these fires and lightning strikes, thousands of lightning strikes, so much lightning that the thunder was almost a continuous roll previously. And so a lot of us I packed my go bag, a lot of people prepared for imminent evacuation if need be. We wouldn't know where to go because it depends on where the lightning would strike and which way we need to respond, maybe in the middle of the night at any point. Fast forwarding again to what's happening now. Clearly, thank goodness that didn't happen right where I am. But, and in fact, I did reach out on social media. I put out a message that I'm staying positive and prayerful, and hundreds of people sent love and good energy and wishes for sort of a cooling trend, for no lightning, for reduced winds, moisture, and that's exactly what happened. We got fog. We got a little bit of precipitation in the form of light rain in some areas, very, very low winds, a cooling trend, and no lightning in many of the areas that had been struck with lightning before. So it was phenomenally significant. It was a meaningful incident in the sense that we were expecting one thing, that weather forecasters had a clear sense that we would definitely be seeing dry lightning, and then we did not receive it. And what I see is very similar to what happened to me with my redwood tree, the one right behind me. I'm calling it my redwood tree. Actually, it's on my neighbor's property, but I now see and recognize and feel in my heart that we are all guardians for this earth, and that our love, such as the love that when people reached out to my query, can people keep me in their prayers, in their hearts? They did. And there's definitely a combined effect when all of us start caring for each other, regardless what people's beliefs are. So going above and beyond whatever the politics might be at this time, not getting wrapped up in that, but just getting back into your actual heart, feeling that, recognizing that even if there's supposedly a wall between us, whether it's my neighbor's fence or maybe a perceived wall that we humans are so good at putting up between people that we perceive as being other or different than ourselves. Whatever that wall might be, please realize that your love can reach right through it, and it will make a huge positive difference. So with that in mind, I'd like to leave you with my favorite question: how good can it get? And the question this time specifically looking at how good can it get when we listen to nature's message now: will you care? Until next time, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com. Thanks so much.